and welcome to our concert and our pre-concert talk. I'm Karen Thomas, the Artistic Director of Seattle for Musica. Delighted to see you all here just to hear a little bit about the concert and then enjoy the concert itself. So, as the title says, Celtic Christmas is all music from Celtic lands, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and Cornwall. And we'll be singing in numerous languages, probably more English and Latin than Welsh and Irish and Scottish, but you know, we've got a little bit of everything for you tonight. And kind of spanning the gamut from early music to very contemporary music and folk music as well. So what I like to do in these talks is give you a little bit of information about some of the things you'll be hearing and play some little snippets to illustrate what you'll be hearing also. So we're going to start the concert, and I'll start tonight by playing for you a chant that is from Inchcolm Abbey, which is an abbey that's located just outside of Edinburgh in the Firth of Forth. And this is a chant that's to Saint Columba, who is one of the patron saints of Scotland. So St. Andrew is the one that everybody knows about. Saint Columba was also a patron saint of Scotland and did some really great miracles that I'll tell you about later. This is called Ave Sanctorum Columba, and it's a hymn of praise to Saint Columba. Gives you a little taste. We'll be doing that as a processional with candles, which is always lovely this time of year. So St. Columba was actually born in Ireland, came to Scotland, and he settled on the Isle of Iona in the Inner Hebrides, which is just off of Oban on the west coast of Scotland, and built an abbey there. And was actually very, very well known around the area, and did a lot of diplomatic work to help the local clans keep peace with each other, and help settle disputes. And there are many miracles attributed to him. And my favorite one is that he is said to have banished a ferocious sea beast to the depths of the River Ness. River Ness. It flows from the Loch Ness. Yeah. So who knows? I guess it's still there because Columba just sent it down to the bottom. Anyway, so he was somebody who was just deeply revered in the area, and I was lucky enough to go to Scotland this past summer, which is such a beautiful place. And went to Iona and went to the Abbey, and got to be in the space that St. Columba built and see a lot of the artifacts and whatnot, and just experience Scotland, which is magical. It's just such a beautiful place. Years ago I was in Wales and loved that as well, and both of those places are part of my heritage. So I love the culture, I love the music, and this is just one of my favorite concerts to do is Celtic choral music. So the next piece I'd like to share with you is a piece by Judith Weir, who's a contemporary Scottish composer. And this is a piece that uses a medieval Scots text. So she's taking an old text and writing it in a way that kind of harkens back to some medieval sounds in the music, but is also, at the same time, very, very contemporary. And she uses harmonic language that goes beyond what you would have heard hundreds of years ago. So this is called Illuminare Jerusalem, and it's Arise and Shine, Jerusalem, for your light is come. So Judith Weir, who, if you don't know her, she's really famous in the UK. She's been, since 2014, she's been the master of first the Queen's music, now the King's music, which is a honorific title that a different composer has in the UK, and is for 10 years or so, and is bestowed on them by whoever is the monarch at the time. So, Illuminare Jerusalem by Judith Weir. So that's Judith Weir, and then I wanted to share with you a piece by Charles Villiers Stanford, who is an Irish composer who spent most of his working life in England, but was born in Ireland and wrote a lot of great choral music, including some settings of the Magnificat, and this particular one is my favorite. It's an a cappella setting for 2 choirs, for double choir, so eight parts of the Magnificat, and it's the biggest piece we're doing on the program, and it's his setting is just super dramatic. It's almost like a little mini oratorio in the kind of the sweep of the story as he sets it. That is this great song of joy of Mary, and then she harkens back to things that were promised to the Hebrews, and so you get this sweep of history all kind of bundled in this one piece that's it's so well crafted. I love this piece so much. And I think when you hear the beginning of it, it might make you think of another composer also. So does that make you think of any other composer? Not Stanford? Anybody? Anybody? Bach. Yeah.
Meets the Swinkle
Yeah, Bach meets the Swinkle Singers. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, definitely that opening of that sounds a lot like Bach Sing a Dim Herrn or something. Yeah, absolutely. But I love this piece because of you heard only a little beginning of it, but as you go through the piece, he's does a lot of sudden key changes that are very surprising, and yet they sound exactly like the right thing, even though they're surprising. It's really so well written. The next piece I'd like to share with you is a Welsh piece. It's a prayer or a lullaby, a folk lullaby called Siodan, and you might not recognize the name, but you will probably recognize the melody because it's really very, very well known and absolutely gorgeous. Recognize that tune? Anybody? Yes, no, no? Oh, a few people. Okay, good, good, good. I love that so much. That was sung by a really good choir who you're going to hear tonight. And it's on our CD called A Celtic Christmas, which is for sale in the lobby. So actually a few of the pieces that you'll hear on the concert tonight are also on that CD if you're interested in taking them home with you. So there's another Welsh song, folk song, that we will also be doing tonight, which is very, very different from the one you just heard. This second one is called Ble Ruitin Men, and it's a song sung by young people out in villages in this tradition in which they would dress up and go out into the woods and go hunting for a wren. And this would happen on the day after Christmas, and it was known as the day that you would have the wren hunt. And the tradition is that then these kids would capture a wren and put it in a cage and take it back to town and take it from door to door and show people that they had captured the wren. So why a wren? The wren is known as the king of birds. So for Celtic people to capture the king, presumably the King of England, and be able to take it back to the village and say, we caught the king, right? So as a little bit of subversion there. And they would take it from house to house, and they'd have this wren in a cage and say, can you give us money for the Wren's Day dance? And so people would, give them some money, and then they would maybe have a dance, or they'd maybe just go down to the pub, I don't know. But anyways, so it's a very fun piece. The literal translation of the title is where are you going? And it's, where are you going? And they say each other's names, Dibben and Dobbin and Ricard and Robin and John. And this, they're going to go to the woods, they're going to catch the wren. So it's just a really fun folk song. So that's a really fun piece. Plus, I get to play guitar on it, so that's really fun. So we've gone through some Welsh pieces and some Scottish pieces and an Irish composer, and we're back to Wales with a contemporary piece by Paul Mealer, who is a very well-known composer in choral circles around the world right now. And he writes beautiful choral music, but a lot of what got him great recognition is that when Prince William and Kate were married, one of Paul Mealer's pieces was performed at the wedding, his Ubi Caritas, and people fell in love with it. And so he was like famous overnight. And then he was commissioned to write something for the coronation of King Charles this past year. So he's doing really well, and deservedly so, because his music is beautiful. This piece is called A Spotless Rose, and it's a setting of the text that was also set by Howells and many other people, that the spotless rose that opens in the depths of winter. And what he does, it's such a evocative and beautiful setting, because it starts with just this really quiet unison choir, and gradually expands open to bigger and bigger chords and louder dynamics, and so it's really like this little tight rosebud that's gradually growing and opening. And it's luscious and beautiful to sing as well as to listen to. Oh, that's Paul Mueller, A Spotless Rose, such a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. The last piece I'd like to play for you is actually not by a Scottish or Welsh or Irish composer. It's by a local Seattle area composer, John Muleisen, but he sets an old Scottish text and sets it so beautifully, and it kind of evokes the nature of Celtic music that I wanted to include it because it's so beautifully done. It's called The Invocation, and it's a song of praising like God of the moon and the stars and the sun and God's connection to nature, and even like mentions rounded stones, kind of like makes you think of standing stones. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece, Invocation by John Muleisen. So that gives you a little taste of some of the music that you'll hear on the concert tonight. And in the couple minutes we have left, I just wanted to open it up if anybody has questions about the concert or Pro Musica or anything. Happy to entertain your questions, and if you want to sneak out the door and go in and find your seat, that's okay too. But I'm here for a couple more minutes if anybody has a question about anything. Ask away, or sneak out the door and enjoy the concert. All right.